Evening, guys. How we doing? Hope we're doing good. I'm here in that. Well, no, I'm not going to call it a studio because it's actually my spare bedroom. But anyway, I'm sat here. Got me new artwork on the wall. Just want to do a little bit on kind of emotional well-being, really. Listened to a few podcasts today, and just something popped up and come into my mind. Just thinking about those of us that have gone through any kind of mental health crisis, whether diagnosed or not, whether you kind of sought therapy or not. And I can speak for myself that I felt absolutely ill prepared, that it came, even though now upon reflection I look back and probably have had kind of long-term trauma and issues, but it came sort of somewhat out of left field, like it does with a lot of people. Can be normal functioning adults, and it can come completely out of left field, either through a traumatic event or otherwise, just stress of daily life. Anyway, I just got to thinking, as some of you may know, in my day-to-day life, I'm a wellbeing specialist and a personal trainer. I used to compete in duathlon and triathlon, and I got to thinking about that, thinking if we were, for example, going to compete in an event, or whether that's a race, a marathon, you would train for that, whether you were going to do a strongman event, whether you were going to do a bodybuilding competition. You would spend weeks, months, even years training and sculpting and building. You'd have a plan to build your body in program in preparation for that event. If you were going to buy a house, a wedding, a holiday, you save for that, you spend time, you plan, you organise, you pay your monthly your monthly advances into that. You would have a structured and laid out plan of how you're going to get from A to B. Okay. The same would go for lots of other scenarios. But why is it with our psychological well-being that we don't do any prehabilitation work? People aren't prepared for overwhelming stress. We aren't prepared for kind of how to deal with the emotions surrounding people's death, which is an inevitability, right? We're all born with, the only thing in life that's inevitable is that we're going to die at some stage. And when it comes, it's like it come out of left field. We're not prepared for that. So I do believe there's a lot of work to do in schools, colleges, universities, society, to change that, to allow people to work really on their kind of mental rigidity, to allow them to build that inner strength that we need to perhaps prepare us for the ever more kind of stressful environment that we face. Anyone in this current generation has faced probably one of the most unique stressful events we've had in terms of COVID and the lockdowns and so on, and schools being closed, and all the associated impacts on people's businesses and livelihoods. Really unorthodox scenarios. So I listened to a David Goggins podcast, and he talks about that. He talks a lot of shit, if I'm honest, but he talked about that he would always train himself and go out and put himself in stressful environments and situations, so that when they did arise in real life, that he felt trained, like to deal with those situations, those scenarios. And I guess if anyone that watches SAS Who Dares Wins, that's what part of the training is about, is basically making people robust and able to deal with really compromising psychological scenarios. So I don't really know what the kind of point to this is, but it's just that we, I guess as a society, need to be more sympathetic and perhaps do some work around that. So yeah, I'm very interested in that, and I think I'll kind of try and get some people on the channel to talk about how we can do that, and ways and tools that we can find to implement. So talking's the best therapy there is. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. It's tough to talk, but it's good to talk. Have a great day. God bless.